Hi there, Graham Vincent, violin maker and musician. I've got my gloves on, I've got my fleece on. It's quite cold. It's also quite dark, as you probably noticed, and there's a reason for that. I mean, I don't normally film like this because it's really difficult to film. Well, with a camera I've got, but let me just show you. Let me swing this down here. Violin makers actually spend quite a lot of time in the in the dark almost. What you can see now with this lighting, all of a sudden, although it's not ideal for many kind of jobs and operations, you suddenly get the most amazing contrast, and it's what we violin makers use basically for cleaning things up, getting things tidy and shipshape. The trouble is it's a little bit harder to jump about and film stuff, and as you know, I tend to like doing videos in a limited number of takes, or well, just like one continuous take is the ideal for me, because I mean, I don't earn anything from these videos, and the only way to make it financially worthwhile is to not spend anything on it. So it doesn't cost me anything really, apart from a little bit of time, and hopefully you lot get to see what happens. So whilst I whittle away at this, and this is obviously not a standard timber. This is Spanish cedar and mahogany. I actually thought this was mahogany when I started, but no, it's the Spanish cedar. In fact, that's worth talking about a little bit. Why am I using Spanish cedar? Well, the reason I'm using Spanish cedar is because I dismantled a bureau to get some of the lovely softwood out of it that I've used for quite a large number of fronts, and I had this big pile of wood left over, and I was looking at it wondering what to do, and I quite fancied making a case for bows. Actually, it's sort of like a long thin violin case, and I might still do that. But also I thought, well, a lot of it is just a high quality mahogany veneer on a cheaper substrate, or a more plain, less visually appealing substrate. So I had a look at it and found it was all this stuff, which I thought was just a sort of a lower grade of mahogany when the idea struck. So I did, you know, my usual test. I took a piece and decided it was fairly strong and pretty light and very, very resonant, and visually I thought it would be quite interesting for violin anyway, because I've made quite a few violins out of fairly plain wood, and let's be honest, a lot of the old Italian ones were made out of fairly plain wood as well, and relied on the shape, you know, the form, to give them their visual beauty rather than the actual timber. I mean, Stradivarius always had, well, most of the time had lots of money and was able to buy the very best timber. But even he, when he was younger, made a couple with well, one of them that I know of has got huge knots in the back. It's not the ideal piece of timber, but obviously he must have done what I did and decided that it had enough going for it to make it worth using. So there I was with this pile of timber. I did my little tests on it, and I decided to have a go. So hence the Spanish cedar violin. Like I say, I didn't realise it was Spanish cedar for a while, which is slightly embarrassing. I thought it was some sort of light mahogany. And then when I started to look at, you know, I mean, I know Spanish cedar from, well, A, the fact that it's used in furniture construction, but B, I know it because it's used extensively for flamenco guitar necks, because it's you know, got the attributes I mentioned. It's strong, it's stable, it's resonant. So it's used in flamenco guitars quite a lot, and also, of course, in cigar boxes, because the other thing it's got, because of the, well, I mean, its Spanish name is Cilla odorata, and the odorata obviously comes from the root of the word odor, and it's because it smells, it has a characteristic odor, and that is quite a strong insect repellent. That's one of the reasons I believe they use it, as far as I'm aware, in cigar boxes, is because it protects the cigars from any insect attack. I don't know much about cigars. I guess there are insects that would attack them otherwise. I don't know. That's certainly the implication, isn't it? And obviously, once you've got cigar boxes, then you have cigar box guitars and cigar box violins and so on. And I said this before, haven't I, in a video? They can sound surprisingly good, I thought. So, you know, for what they are. So this is like a posh version of that. I'm really looking forward to hearing this one. Hopefully I'll be able to, within about 10 days, maybe 2 weeks maximum, I'll be recording a video of it for you, so you'll all be able to hear it. And as I say, it's still at the moment for sale. Okay, I've been thinking for a while about this, so I'd be interested to hear everyone's thoughts. I don't make any money from this channel, and I have no real desire to do so. I'm very happy to carry on producing videos, but at the same time, I don't want it to cost me money, and I have been recording everything. Well, I've got a geriatric GoPro 4, and I just use my iPhone for film. It's what I'm using at the moment. And the iPhone camera is great, but there's some things it can't do. So I was wondering whether I shouldn't do a GoFundMe for a camera. That's one option. And the other option, the thing about a GoFundMe is everyone would know precisely how much had been put in, and would know precisely where it's going. So there wouldn't be any implication that I was using it to fund a lavish lifestyle of cask ale and sort of all the rest of it. Chocolate and alcohol. But the other option, of course, is something like Patreon. And I had this idea. I could do a violin once a year, which effectively is raffled amongst the Patreon subscribers. So you'd get basically one ticket for every $1 that you put in, and at the end of the year, regardless of how many or how few dollars I got in, one of my violins would go to one lucky Patreon donor. So I don't know. That's the other way. That's the other thought I have about how to sort of fund a new camera. If anyone else has any other ideas or comments, I'd be absolutely delighted to hear them. Because it would be quite nice to improve the quality of the filming. And yeah, I mean, here I am filming in the dark, but I mean, the set of lights, a decent camera, And then, I mean, it's just never ending, is it? It just expands. Then you think, oh, well, I need a lavalier microphone, a radio, a wireless lavalier microphone, and yeah, it probably would benefit from that. But obviously, I'm not really in the business of spending a load of money to film videos which don't earn me anything, and I have no great expectations that they will. As I say, that's not why I'm doing this. So yeah, let me know what you think. Or we could just carry on exactly as we are, which is of course the other option. It might be the sensible option. That actually might be the very best option. Interested to hear your thoughts anyway. This Spanish Cedar is, I mean, I've just sharpened up my scraper, but it does tend to rip up a little bit. I don't know if you can see, I don't know if that's going to come through or not, but you see these little fibres just lifting there. So, although we violin makers don't use or don't like to use sandpaper if we don't have to, I think on this one, and I was just experimenting with a little bit of P800, I think it is. I was just experimenting, and I think I might on this one have to just finish it off with the finest of the lightest of sandings. Oh, you see there, it's just there's a couple of fibres lifted up, and I'm finding that quite a bit. You don't get that with maple and what have you so much. Now, I mean, I'm obviously I've done lots and lots of videos using odd woods and what have you, but one thing I did want to say is I haven't got anything against maple and sycamore, and not the next violin, because the next violin I'm going to be making is going to be out of another most unusual wood and with an unusual story attached to it. And I'm looking forward to starting that probably next week. So look at that little bit of that fibre that's lifted up there. But after that one, I've got a pair of violins to make, which will indeed be in the absolute standard mainstream spruce and maple. Although they won't have ebony. They will have Rocklite as this is. So look at see how that light just, where are we? Is that framing right? Yeah, you see here the way that contrasty light really highlights the fact that I've just got a little deep bit there that I need to just sort out. It's funny because when it was this way around, you didn't see that. Trying to work out the best way to get the best illumination for what I'm trying to do here. I don't know if you guys remember that I've been painting the insides of the peg boxes with various colours, which I really rather like the look of. I've got a decision coming up on this one because I'm going to do the same here, and I have to decide have to decide what colour. Any thoughts? Or maybe you just think I'm silly and it should be just varnish like the rest of it. I mean, obviously, traditionally, a lot of them have been painted black inside. But as you may have seen, I've been playing with other fancier colours. Right, you know what? I'm wittering. This probably isn't that exciting to watch. So I think we'll call it a day there. And probably the next video will be the question and answer number 3. I've got loads of interesting questions come in. So, yeah. See you then. Okay, cheers, folks. Look after yourselves. Cheers, bye.